Hello, my name is Abubacarr of Gunjur Online. Thanks so much for joining us. We are thrilled to welcome you today on another special interview that we scheduled to have earlier. And we apologize first for coming in late due to some technical issues created by internet and geographical locations. And I'm your host of Gunjur Base, and today we're having a special show that is going to be a conversation with one of the youth leaders that the Gambia have created, and that is Fatou Hydra. Fatou is the chief executive or the chief, executive director of African Youth Architects. And African Youth Architect is an innovative nonprofit organization that develops curricular and resources to support students, especially students in our continent, Africa. And Fadu also has an extensive experience in different areas from leadership, entrepreneurship, education, and with a bachelor's degree in pre-medicine. Fatu is um, the founder of this amazing youth organization that serves Africa and beyond. And is a public figure, a youth leader. So Fatu, today we welcome you to Gunjur Online.
Thank you so much, Brewer, for the wonderful intro. We really apologize for delay in coming in, which has to do with internet and things like that. But anyway, we make it, so that's part of the digital era. So we expect the unexpected. Thank you so much for having me on this. So
Thanks for coming, and I thank you for trying everything possible to join us today. Um, Fatu was, I know it's gonna take long if I have to do an extensive intro of Fadu. Fadu is a young, talented individual, and that Encyclopedia Britannica uh, honored as on their list of 20 under 40 young shapers of their future, specifically in education. And she has diverse experience in different areas from health sector with passion in education, especially young girls. If someone is watching you today, I just want to put this out there really quick. Someone saw this advert about our interview and was like, "Oh, I know her from Brikama." She's always been very, very active, especially in youth development. Where do you get your inspiration from? Where is all this energy coming from? Balancing, leadership setting up organizations, studying, entrepreneurship, traveling around the world, connecting with young people. Where do you get all the inspiration from?
Thank you, Buba, for asking this question. I mean, for me, I'm sorry, guys. I'm having cold, so my voice is a little bit changed today. Uh,
That's totally
the
fine.
inspiration, first of all, comes from my environment because I grew up in a very, very loving environment in Bukama, Cape Africa, but also there is not much like things that you could say, oh, if I grow up, I want to be this person. You can count those individuals. So I would say, first of all, the environment gives me the motivation to really do more because I really feel like that is a need that I need to come to where I'm from and being able to have the opportunity to explore a world a little bit. I feel like I should really do something that what I benefited other people also to see that. So my inspirations come from my environment. So that's it.
Environment, it's crucial. Like, it's not only about how we make our environments better, but the reality is we are of we are part of our environments, and we are who we are because of our environments, what affects us
Yeah.
growing up, and to a level where we are folks that can be leaders. And when you talk about environment, I lived in Brikama a little bit, and I remember back in the day when tons of folks have to travel all the way to Banjul on a daily basis using the I forgot, GPA buses, those blue buses, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes you an hour, 2 hours to go to school, and probably another 2 hours to come back home. I
Yeah.
remember living in Brikama back in the day for about 3 months, and it took me forever to go and back to school. That would really move us back to the new initiative that you and your team set up to
Mm-hmm.
help the underprivileged girls in Gambia and other nine, 10 African countries. So, a total of 10 African countries, if you like. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I think the hour that we have here is very small to talk about
Right,
the whole of that, but I would just say a little bit. That project was something that's really really dear to us, and I would say maybe Yahya so also is from Binju. He might be watching. He's also a
correct.
very determined young person, like our regional director for West Africa, doing so much to make sure that we really pull that initiative up. So we came up with that idea for a child education. We connected with the 2030 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 4, the target for like 10-year remaining for the goal. What can we do? How do we make year 2020s the year of education? And then looking at where we come from, and then the experience that we go through while we learning from schools, and the things that we do not have access to. So when we travel outside of Gambia, have the opportunity to travel to study outside and live with different people, different cultures, different environments, and see how those children are learning and the opportunities they have, and how the parents and the government, the environment is really involved into those people's education, and you feel like, oh, we didn't have this where we come from. What can we do to put this back there? So we have to spend at least a year for research on how because whatever you wanted to do, somebody has been doing it, but how do you do it differently, and how do you bring something into it that people are not being familiar to? So that has to take us with research, do surveys, talking to communities, and also meeting parents and going to schools and see what is really missing in the educational system, because we have been seeing the UNICEF, the other big NGOs coming to Africa, given books, bags, and pencils, but still now we have not been able to sort out the problem. So what are some of the things that are missing? So we have to come with something new, creating communication between parents and teachers, and putting the learner in the middle, because the child is the one that is in the center. And what are some of the things that we could do to really help these individuals? So we really come with a very, very reasonable goals, and they are very huge, but with our determinations, we very much sure that we really pull out a lot. Already, 100 students in Gambia has been confirmed for this project, and we are not getting no outside funding for this. Everything is being started with us because that's something that we believe in. If you take finance as an obstacle, you will not be able to do what you wanted to do. Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned something very crucial, coming from the Gambia. I remember back in the day when you just close from school, all they think is go and fetch firewood, or the girls will just go and do some laundry or cooking and those stuff.
Hmm.
And just having to have a holistic approach to the whole thing that involves parents, the school, and the child who is going to school. I think that's a very, very crucial thing when it comes to quality
Hmm.
education. For the simple fact that both parties that are involved knows the importance of it, and they also clearly know their role to play to help that kid. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, some of us were never
Yeah.
asked to go and study. You just have to think for yourself and say, hey, I need to study. I have
Yeah.
exams tomorrow. Probably my mom doesn't know how to read and write, doesn't even know the value of
Hmm.
education back then. All they thought was, I should
Exactly.
go and work. And so they were not part of the whole system that nurtures and helps
Exactly.
these kids. So
Because
what
the pressure on teachers is too much because people feel like, oh,
right,
teachers have to do so much. Because also if you see like so many children are failing from schools, some are not academically smart, but also
mhm,
the educational system is fast for some students. And also that is also something that we want our teachers to also get this. Some of
right,
your students can be smarter and some of your students can be slow to really catch up with the classes.
right,
Sometimes we don't know the background of these children. We don't know where they come from. Some
yeah,
children come from terrible homes where their parents are fighting every day, where food
right,
is a problem. When they get home, they get desperate. So that's why we were like, the development of a child is between the family and the school. So the child is in the middle. So if we only focus on what is happening in the school, we forget about the homes, that's gonna be a problem. So that's why we come with a thing. It has been around parent teacher
right,
association, but we feel like it's more to association. I think we need parent teacher partnerships. Parents and teachers have to work together in the development of these children.
right,
What is making this child not to pass exams? What is making this child slow? You have to know where the person comes from. Sometimes we can be able to help some of these children to come up and not to leave children to go like that. If that happens, crime rates go up because we will have so much more liabilities in the society, and this is
right,
something that we cannot handle. You
right.
know.
I,
Mhm.
I mean, that's very crucial. So, it's multidimensional.
Yeah.
Talking about homes, I think that's very, very crucial. We would elaborate a little bit still on your partnership with families. What mechanisms have you guys put in place to make sure that it's just not rhetoric? Like, it's easier to identify the problems, but how to solve those problems too is crucial. And just to make sure that you have a team on the ground that are, connecting to these families. How is that partnership being like?
Well, first of all, what we do was we went to schools and really just tour around schools and see, how teachers are teaching kids and how everything is happening in school. Though we will not be able to know everything, but we
Right,
get our little informations. And what we do, every child come from a home. So if
right,
if a child is part of our project, we make sure we know the family. The
mm,
family and us are connected. And then this is the professor, the teacher that is teaching your child,
mm,
and now we have an individual that is responsible for that child. So those two individuals are part of our organization. So as a mentor to that individual. So that person is the one responsible to know the child's performance at school and also the child's performance at the house. How is the child behaving at the house, the support the child is getting from the home, and how the child is performing at the classroom. So the individual is responsible for this, and then like we know how much this person is making in an exam, and then to see an yearly, to see what really this person is focused into. Because not everybody wants to go to university. I mean, university is good. I went to university. I really support it, but some people don't need university.
right.
They just need to recognize their gift and work hard on that, and that will make something for them. So we look into those things. If we realize that this individual is really not what we expect from the academic side, what are some of the extracurricular activities we can look into? The vocational skills side will come now because
Right.
everybody have a role to play in this world. Everybody is gifted in something. We just don't see it. So also
Right.
what we do, there is an individual that we will introduce later on. C is somebody who has really been involved in the education of her child, and the
Mhm.
child really makes so much impact in the world. So this woman knows the value of education. So sometimes the reason why we do not get support from the house is because our parents don't know the value of education.
Right.
Yeah,
That,
but as a parent whose children make something out of education, those parents will push their kids to go in it. So this is the difference that we have.
right. I think that's what makes the whole thing crucial. Just what the home plays, like the parents.
Yeah,
I think things have changed now. So many of our parents now know the value of education. At least they can give out lunch and stuff like that. So it wasn't happening before. Sometimes it was just the moms that go to the narcotos and just get some money and give you
yeah,
maybe $1 or $1 C for food. Um, but equally, I think the schools also plays an important role in these things. I think our
mhm,
schools are still underfunded. I think they still lack the requisite um, uh, with probably not only skills but equipment, computers.
yeah,
Back in the day, you from Bugama, you know how Bottrop used to be very famous for technical education, SOS, how they used to be very famous. St. Peter's and all that. I have a brother who's been to these schools, and they even graduated from high school, but they're skillful folks that before even graduating, they started earning money because they learned skills. I just really wanted to understand or to tell our viewers, what kind of partnership will you have with schools? Because I know you go to so many schools, you have maybe 60 kids per teacher. They don't have that energy. It cannot be effective. You have so many kids to one teacher or a resource person that is having just a curriculum that's for everyone. How are your the strategies helping to tailor make some of the things for, say, I have a kid who is not really good at one thing, but really good at another thing. And we know that vocational side of it is what's going to work best for the kid.
mhm.
Do you have any partnership to help support identify those kind of kids where they can be really channeled through the right path for them? So they don't just keep failing, and we thought they are not academically sound. No, they
Yeah,
are skilled in some areas. Everyone has a talent. You just have to be
yeah,
able to identify and be able to have the support system that
mhm.
exploits those parts and support you along the way. What is are the schools doing to help implement the novel idea that you guys brought?
Well, like you said, schools lack equipments, but it's very true. Achieving high quality education is not cheap. So it
Right,
means you have to invest money, but also
mm,
investing money, it has to come with really good strategies, how
mhm,
we put these things in place. First of all, when you look at it, I think it's hard to really put this because also at this point, teachers also have a very tough time
right,
because before you can teach students something, they will only hear that from the classroom. But now before you teach students something, they already know that from the internet.
right,
So what teachers need to do more now is collaboration. Teachers need to collaborate with students. So this will make education easy for us. So in the case that we still lack materials, computers, access to internet, high quality internet, those things are coming, and the world is really evolving, and we really need to catch up with the pace. I think there is more than just become a qualified teacher now. It has to also come with communication skills, adding to teachers degrees from Gambia College, or I don't know where they get the degrees from, University of the Gambia, which also has to do with teachers has now have to know how to use basic computer applications because
right.
times are changing. We
That's
do not
true.
want to say, oh, we were not expecting this. So which means that everything is being expected nowadays. So government also need to put their budget when it comes to education. We need right players to look into curriculums be
Right.
revisited. Some of the things that we don't need, because I came to Morocco some time ago. I went to some schools here. I was like, oh, they teaching us SCS. I don't even know what value that have sometimes.
Right.
So see how they're teaching the kids, the style they're teaching. We have to now look into the style of teaching. I think this can also help a lot when it comes to us achieving the goal that we wanted to achieve when it comes to in terms of our education. So teachers also where you mentioned about how do we help those individuals that are not passing exams and things like that. It has to come with observation. Being a teacher, you are like a role model, a parent, and everything to the student. So it's your responsibility. I know 40 students in the classroom is a lot, but you can use a strategy and know how to assist your failing students in the classroom because those people they are not meant to fail. You know.
I mean, before we go further, I just want to remind our viewers that we're having a discussion with the executive director of African Youth Architect, Fatou Hydra, specialist in so many areas, involved youth leader, public speaker, and who is working tirelessly, um, irrespective of location, to make sure that she and her organization brings the best to the African continent and to the young people, especially the kids, underprivileged. And we'll continue our discussion on these areas. So next of my I still want us to stay a little bit because I think this is a very, very important topic. Whatever we do, we can talk about business, we can talk about technology, we can talk about everything, but all that can develop when we develop our schools. That's where innovation is going to come from. That's where ingenuity is going to come from. That's where our future scientists, the soccer players, basketball players, engineers, doctors, and all that. And you mentioned something that is very, very crucial, which I want us to dwell a little bit on. If my teacher doesn't even know how to use email, then you cannot really teach 21st century kids. That's
Yeah,
where too where
Generation Z
our
is so smart.
Correct. That's where too where our teachers are being trained really needs to have adequate stuff to understand. We have moved past the education of beating, education of punishment, education of
Hmm.
putting everyone in one bubble, if you like,
Yes.
and just having everyone do the same thing. That's why when you go to college, you go to places, the more developed countries, you would see kids trying so many different things, instrument playing, piano. They have
Hmm.
extracurricular things that they're interested in, because at that early age, you're able to discover what you're best at. So you pretty much develop an idea over time to know what you're best at. So you can pursue that and you know where your passion lies. Many of us will graduate from high school not even knowing what to study. You probably go and study business because that's what is available. You probably
Yes.
go and become a teacher because you can get an entry into Gambia College. So
Hmm.
you just keep blindly, you just get into certain things. One thing I am very, very passionate about is to connecting kids to mentors. Mentorship is so crucial. If you ever lived on campus, you will realize in different countries, you'll realize our mentorship, how good it is. If you traveled out of the country, you will realize people that have mentors, even in the business world, have higher rates of success than folks that really just keep trial and error, try and error. And do you guys, as part of this the project that you're doing, are you considering those mentorship programs that will help these kids, um, aside from the school and home, where eventually they can get connected to folks that will guide them through their educational journey?
Yeah, yeah. We really put those plans. We have a mentorship programs coming. We have a lot. Our this next project is a full package. So
Right.
many things is included inside it, and it's not like oh we just want to phone you today and we stop there. This is you being with us till end of time. So that's the plan. So it's
Right.
like a lot will really be involved into this, and we hope it's really gonna be something that the world will like. Because if you do something, you want people to like what you do. So even though you believed in it's good, but you want people to say, "Oh wow, you did great." So
Yeah.
we hope when it's out, people will really say that.
So a project that is not just for Gambia, but
Mhm.
for 10 African countries. Can you tell us more about that beyond Gambia? How prepared you guys are, the resources needed, and also for folks that are watching and that are going to watch this video later, how can they be involved? How are you able to? We might have some folks that are from a particular country. They are interested in funding this program or contributing to the program. What are the things that, what's your partnership like with other African youth leaders in different parts of the world, especially in Africa?
Well, first of all, it's like when you come in with an initiative or an organization, sometimes you might want to have it only from one location, but sometimes you might want to have different people from different locations, different backgrounds, different professional arenas to really work on one subject. Then, if you do that, the result, because everybody will come with a different answer, so the results are always amazing. So we really believe in networking and connecting with the outside world, working with different young people on something. Because what is the experience from my environment might be different from your own. So that is a different perspective from what we are facing currently, from education or when it comes to health or when it comes to anything the corner that anybody wants to work in. So I think it's really ideal partnering with different people, introducing your idea. You have to sell your ideas to people and let people see if they're willing to buy those ideas. And one thing is, you cannot do it alone. So, which means that you need the right people to be there with you. So, what we do when it comes to partnerships from different countries, when people wanted to be part of our project, you can become an educational ambassador with us. You can have a monthly subscription where you invest in somebody's education. It depends on the type of funding that the party want to do. We have different stages of funding and how somebody can involve into this. You can become a mentor to a child, a therapist, or anything that's included into the package.
You mentioned a key word that's underprivileged. Even in the developed world, developed countries, they still have funding programs. They have, I remember working for one of the programs called Magnet Scholars Program that funded underprivileged students in the US. I mean, you know, less represented. And targeting those people, that niche, I think it's very crucial because they have the highest
Mhm.
risk of falling off the wheel.
Yeah.
And how do you identify, just knowing the amount of underprivileged folks in Africa,
Uh,
how we are able to um, really identify, are you able to identify those key people that you think fits the criteria of being underprivileged in our societies in different countries, including Gambia?
well, for when it comes to Gambia, I think we have people with fortunes, but when you look into the environment itself, when I think for us, when we said the word underprivileged, sometimes it doesn't only have to start with somebody who just come from a very successful background, because
Right,
sometimes you can see a child come from a successful background, but is still underprivileged. So
right,
underprivileged depends on the. So you might come from a successful family, but you don't have support. Sometimes
right,
some people are from rich family, but they can become miserable. So
right,
for us, you can be an underprivileged, like, oh, you come from a less income family. These are our targeted people. An individual from a less income family that
right,
actually needs support to certain things. But also, you can come from a, I don't know, a privileged background, but
right,
you might still need some of our the things that we might have in our package. So it's like it's a project for everybody, but the primary target is underprivileged children. So how we identify these underprivileged children is that we go into the community. We spend almost 7 months, in
right.
Gambia, meeting families. In Gunjur, I think we have 10 kids from Gunjur, the
Oh, really?
families. Yeah, we do have 10 kids from Gunjo in families, meeting with people, knowing the backgrounds and things like that, what the parents do, what the father do, what the mom does, and things like that, and put everything together. And it's so challenging. You will not know what is going in our communities unless you bootstrap and entered inside. That's the time you know the real struggle. And some children will not have birth certificates, like a birth certificate, and it will take the parents a long before they could produce those birth certificates. Some don't even know how to fill forms. We have to sacrifice to fill forms for them. Some don't even know how to put good, just a passport size picture of a child. It's so much things happening in our environment. I wish sometimes we will not only be talking on the platforms, but we get involved, we go to this environment itself, talk to our people, and we will know. Sometimes you will say, okay, I want to put this child there, and say, oh, my project timeline is next year. But the situation you're going to find there, you
Right.
cannot wait. Because we were like, our project is going to happen in 2021. But we came across almost few individuals that we cannot wait. We have to step in and start paying their schools. So it takes everyone.
Yeah, I think that what makes it crucial. Like, the online is important. It helps to disseminate your information. It helps
Mhm.
to connect people, and also, to attract folks that are interested in funding this
Yeah.
projects. But having the boot on the ground, it's the most crucial part to in implementing anything.
Mhm.
You just looked at things, you think, okay, it's an amazing idea, and I'll be able to implement it, and I'll be able to do things about it, even with tons of money. If you really don't understand the situation, I definitely
Yeah,
agree it's going to be really, really hard to implement certain things. So, how many kids
definitely.
are you getting from each country? I think I want to make that very clear. How many?
Um,
What's your target?
I know. The
Ambitious,
viewers will say this lady is so crazy. But definitely, sometimes you have to be very much crazy with your dreams.
right?
Sometimes I get so it's like annually we are selecting 100 kids in each country annually. So already we started with Gambia, 100 has been selected. So which means next year we're gonna select another 100. So the goal is 2030 to have 1,000 kids impact in
Right.
Gambia and on other 10 other countries. So which will equals to us. We call it a triple 10 because it's like
Mhm.
10 year, 10,000, 10 countries. So that's how it's gonna go.
Appears we are. Can you hear me, Fadu?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. No, it just looked like the internet really it was just tripping on us again. Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead. You were
sorry about that.
explaining about the triple ten guns.
Yeah, so I was like, we call it triple 10 basically because it's like 10 countries, 10,000 children, 10 years. So
I mean, like you said, it's really ambitious. But what else young people can do other than being really ambitious and just aim for the highest level, and especially supporting young people, kids, underprivileged people across Africa. If you go to they traveled to different African countries, you will just still realize that we all pretty much have similar situations, similar
we have
issues.
similar
That
situations. It's all the
you
same.
know, for us to be
It's
able to
all the
come
same.
together,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
all we
that's
have similar situation. I think only the North Africa could be a little bit different, a little
yeah,
bit, but pretty
yeah,
much we all the same.
yeah. I watched tons of videos of young people living in different countries giving lectures in leadership, entrepreneurship, risk management from different countries. How did you put all that together, with your friends to get people to connect? Like, there can be a lecture or there can be a class about risk management right now. I watched
Hmm.
tons of videos of that kind, and I learned so much from it that I can, you have a resource person, having a topic of discussion for the day, and you can just do join virtually and do that. I want more
Hmm.
people to know about that so they can learn from it. They can always go to your different platforms and watch these things and be part of it. I think that's going to be very, very crucial, that the technology makes it possible for people,
Hmm.
irrespective of location. If you cannot do it live like we're doing, you can always go back and watch videos. So I always
Exactly.
believe that these are
That's right.
key
I
to
like
it.
the era. It's like time is available. You can come and get the thing anytime.
Right. So
Yeah.
we want you to tell us more, a little bit about that. How did you came about? How do you put that up? Like if someone wants to go and watch
Mhm.
a video about leadership, or you have a topic that is coming. I know on your pages I've seen tons of those. And do we go to your website, or where do we go to watch those things?
Well, pretty much you can watch our activities anywhere on social media, YouTube,
Right,
LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and
right,
because the last programs that you're seeing, these are under our AYA Research Lab. Because
right.
this is our research place where we really wanted to bring people together, give them a $500 worth of scholarship where they can
Wow.
come and hone their leadership skills and different geographical areas. Right now, we are having 40 students from Gambia and Sierra Leone that are also from, very good institutions from their countries to work together. The idea came from our student speaker summit. During the COVID-19 was, very, very much heat and things are happening in schools and stuff. We invite speakers from I think almost 14 countries to come
Right.
together to share their ideas on how we can tackle the impact of COVID-19 on education. So there were very good recommendations which lead us to creating an AYA research lab where people can come, do case studies, publish articles, and
Mhm.
work on the most pressing issues in education, youth employment in Africa, not only limited to Africa, because we feel like Africa is part of the world. So anybody that have an idea of what is really out there can really help people. We welcome them to our research lab to really showcase their talent. And in the days coming, there will be so much of publications from the scientific evidence basis that we believe that people can really benefit from it when they come to our website or things like that. They can download those things or go to our YouTube and watch those things. Because I feel like education is very open now. You can really learn anywhere right now. You have to be able to teach yourself. So we try to bring these like-minded people together to really share their expertise with individuals.
I think I learned a lot from that. Exactly, it was the research lab.
Yeah,
Um,
research lab. Yeah.
I think that was very, very crucial, and the people doing research to really know, because you only can have African solution to African problems. And
Yeah,
many of us try to really implement some of the Western ideas in Africa. The cultural difference is vast, like
it is.
different backgrounds, different understandings of things, and it's just about right time we are innovative enough to really um, do things that have more impact in improving our educational system. And
Yeah.
that is true for this one as well. So if you're watching us, if you have any questions, comments, or anything, go ahead and throw it at us. We will read it. To Faru, if you have anything to ask her about, we will gladly do that. Again, we are um, doing an interview with the executive director of African Youth Architects. Faru, that moves me back. I know we don't have enough time, but
Okay.
you've set up a Yala Award ceremony.
Yes.
And I remember before even ever, before I came across your activities, that was probably the first thing that I saw, maybe a year or two or something. I don't remember exactly
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was set up, staged in
2019. Hmm.
correct 2019, and so many prominent Gambians and other folks were awarded for Sarah. I want you to talk about that. What inspires it, and what does it do to recognize young folks out there? Like the Britannica recognized you. That's a no small feat.
Yeah.
You must be really active, like you always mention, boots on the ground, to be able to
Yeah.
get to that level where they think you're influential in shaping the minds and the well-being of the future leaders. Can you tell me a little bit more about that award ceremony?
I know this award ceremony. I really don't want to be emotional because whenever I think about it, I feel emotional because it's so dear to me,
Right.
and it's like this idea came on in 2019 because we started working on our organization in 2017 and 2018 officially registered the organization, and I was about to graduate at college by then in
Right.
2019, writing my CV, writing my thesis and everything. It's like so much was going on, and also running a nonprofit and the
Yeah.
time spent, the sleepless nights, trying to teach myself and really knows what really is affecting the community. What can we bring to the table that can really benefit people? Because everybody is doing it. So what can we do differently? How do we make it top in the market? Because it's like so many organizations. So it's like pressure, thinking, trying to really, you don't have much, but still now you want to help people. So I was like, this is so hard, and people don't see what it takes for somebody to run a non-profit. Where
Right.
you work, you don't expect to be paid, and but you really wanted to impact the community, doing it for education, health. We're just seeing all these different young people having their non-profits, even they giving just one talk to a community. People
Right.
don't know how many hours it takes those people to really put that thing together. I mean, different emotions are involved. So I was like, you know what? I think we should come. I remember I was talking with Usman Jedab on the phone one night. I was like, because I talked to him a lot. I was like, I think I want to come with something that is called banquet for education banquet. And he was like, yeah, I think
Right.
that's a good idea. I was thinking of so many because I'm an individual when I'm thinking about something. I don't only think about Gambia because for me, Gambia is 2 million. It's
Right.
very small. So if your impact is only gonna stop in Gambia, I mean it's good for those that are doing it, but for me it's very small.
Right.
So I was like, I think we need to come with something to really honor individuals that are really spending their time to really impact our communities. And I shared this idea with my team, and the original idea really switched because you can come with an idea first, but it's, you work with a team. So when you bring it to the team was like, yeah, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. And it become huge. You're like, oh, let's do that. And we were not having any budget. We said, let's do the Young African Leaders Awards and we honor change makers anywhere in Africa. And we're going to provide you fully. Could you imagine? We told people we're going to give you fully funded trip to Gambia without no
Wow.
money. Yeah, so that's mean you have to take a big risk. Sometimes you just have to be very crazy with your goals. So we're like, we're gonna give fully funded trip to you people to come to attend this event. We don't even take the location yet. And our chairman of the board, Zama, he's from Cote d'Ivoire. He was like, I think we should host this event in Gambia. I was like, you're right. Myself, I'm a broke college student. I don't even know how to get a ticket to Gambia. So, so it was just so much. And but thank God we come with the idea. We said, okay, there's a trophy we have. So it has to do with human capital, connecting with people, talking to people.
Right.
This is what we want. This is what we want. And Usman Jeda was like, okay, let's draft this thing. I'm gonna draft the concept for you. Your team can look into it. Suppose when you share your ideas with people, some people can see what you're talking about.
Right.
And I was like, okay, let's go. Let's get to it. And we put everything together. We launched the information online, and I was like, now let's go and research about the trophies that they are giving young people in Africa. We're looking at
Right.
the trophies. Most of the trophies are having the African map. I'm like, oh, the African map is very much used, and some of these metals are not very much because I want us to give an award to young people, a trophy that when you think about Oscars, you talk about Emmys, those trophies when you have them, you really feel like yeah, I have something. So how can we produce a trophy that's really gonna be meaningful, not just some metal? I mean, those that are doing it, I mean, it's okay, but we just wanted to give quality where quality should go to, because those hours that people put together, they deserve something that they can really be proud of.
Right.
So the first month that the award was scheduled for, we could not make it because we did not get that trophy. And any company that we go to, I remember US, China, everywhere, they were like, no, you can buy this trophy that we have, but we cannot make your mall. I'm like, it doesn't matter. We really want this type of trophy. Even we have to post it out, but we want to produce quality. So thank God that we really have a trophy that's really worth it. And we were able to bring 30 young people in Gambia from across different African countries, and 4 individuals were awarded, and they are very much happy. And one thing I wanted to say to people, the whole idea came in without no money, and but it was just for the heart that we wanted to do something. So if you nobody wants to do something for someone who's doing nothing. If you have
Right,
something in your head, you come with it. People want to help you to fund that. So we started with ourselves, funding it first. We paid the trophies by ourselves with thousands of dollars, and people, individuals help. National youth councils come in and support, and other international organizations also comes in and support. So it was really impactful journey, and it was also a motivation to me that whatever you wanted to do, just step in and do it.
right.
If you fail, you fail. If you win, you win. So,
I think we will have a special discussion for your upcoming award next anytime it's set up again. Now,
yeah,
we will
it's
certainly
coming
welcome you
soon
here.
in September 2022. Yeah, the second
Correct.
edition is,
So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm hoping you will create some time to come back here and talk about
inshallah.
that, and
Mhm.
some of those things will be very, very important to know. It's just to reward and recognize the efforts that people are doing across the continent. And uh, nonprofit you mentioned has to be born out of passion because it's
Mhm.
not where you make tons of money. At the beginning of it, you just all you have is the courage and the hope
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
you have an idea that you want to implement. But most importantly, I think it is something that connects you to people that you want to impact. Like you just see something you think it needs to improve or needs to change for better, and it's born out of that desire to go to the communities and help them. Community organization is a novel and most honorable thing to do. So
Mm.
you have to have passion, a very strong passion for it. When tons of people want to do things that are really, safe to do, and there are tons of money in it at the starting and all that, but you just can pick sticks and all those things and said, hey, I have an idea, I'm crazy, I'm gonna do something about it, and
Yeah.
believing in
I
yourself
think it's
first. And
more like I think nonprofit basically it's gonna be more like you having an idea, and now you're looking for individual to fund that idea. But sometimes it has to start with you. It has to start
right,
with you.
I agree,
Mhm.
I totally agree, and that, like I said, hopefully we'll come back here and talk about this award ceremony. I know we're coming to the end of this program.
Oh wow, it's
We it,
fast.
yeah, it's so the plan was to have an hour program, and but hopefully we're able to come back here and also, bring some of your team members too. We can have a
Hmm.
longer discussion, 2, 3 hours. I'll be ready for it
I
because
know,
these are
right?
things that we
That
really
would
need.
be amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, these are things that we really want
Mhm.
to put out there, not just to be comfortable with what you have. You're going to school and things going pretty well, but you just don't want everything to stay with you. You want to impact other people's lives, and that is
Exactly.
selfless. And that is something that we, Gunjur Online, really are passionate about and want to give people the platform to connect to everyone out there, just to add a little value to what you guys are already doing. And we're just so proud that you're all doing so many amazing things that needs to be recognized and put out there for people to learn from. And if they can contribute anything, then they can do that. I'm sorry that we almost coming to the end of the program. We wanted to discuss more and more and more, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, this is where we're gonna wrap it up. And that's Fadu, I want to give you another shot to really just wrap up and tell us. I probably want you to
Yeah,
touch a little bit on
I think I will
entrepreneurship
also
too.
say, oh,
Yeah, I want you to
right. I think
touch
we
a
will
little bit.
save that some other time.
No, I mean, if you are wrapping
Mm.
up, I want you to also,
Oh,
I
okay.
have passion for entrepreneurship. I'm a business guy, and that's something I really want us to come back here and talk about. I've read so much about your activities, things that you're involved in, business-wise, leadership, public speaking, which is all part of the mentorship that I mentioned earlier that could help people, choosing few selected topics and talk about it at career days, at the conferences and all those things. I think people need to really tap into your brains. Those of you that are doing amazing things out there, But I want you to give your last shot to our viewers out there. And unfortunately, we cannot delve more into entrepreneurship and leadership for this one, but we promise we'll be back here for that. Fadu.
Well, first of all, Bubaka, thank you so much for having me today. And I would say thanks to our viewers, those that are watching right now, and those that will watch later on, and also to Gunjul News online. You guys are really doing amazing for giving us this platform to really speak to our cause and the professional level. I really love it. Doing the research and really knows the passion that you bring into your audience. This is something that very much happy about. And then I would say thank you so much. I wish we could talk about more, but time is here, so we will have to end it here. So since we cannot talk about entrepreneurship, I think that's one thing that I would just want to say. Becoming an entrepreneur, your work ethic just have to be good because you just have to work so hard or you haven't than anybody else and a risk taker because you might lose so much money at one time and being an entrepreneur when you start that is not going back. So but I think we will talk more about this later on. But one thing is that you just want to be an entrepreneur, make sure your work ethic is excellent. So that's one thing.
One more. I thought that was going to be one more, but can you promise our viewers we'll get you back here? And we're going to choose a topic to talk about, and that will be on the Gunju based program. And all what we're going to talk about would be more about business, entrepreneurship, and all those things. Um, are you
Yeah, I like
committing
I
to
like, I
that?
like I like talks like that because I am somebody lately. I'm only interested in conversations about how can we grow. I think that's something
Right.
that we people need to talk about. Well, yeah, I promise I'll be back here, and then I promise to have a good background and good lighting in next time when coming.
You got it. Idea is the
Yeah,
best thing. I know how it took you to get to this, but your
yeah,
result
because
is
yeah, you said idea is everything, man. Our
no,
viewers
no.
will
But
say
what
that
I'm saying
we
is,
are not
I know
professional
you
enough.
had a better.
Idea
I
is
know.
everything because I will say this. It's not gonna sound very well to so many people, but the world
Right,
is not buying degrees right now. The world
right.
is buying your ideas. You might have all the degrees in the world, but the world is buying your ideas. So people really have to be very innovative and creative on how they think. It's really important.
I definitely agree. Just I was just sort of going to tell our viewers um, how you are really on point, and this was a backup plan that you had this background and stuff, but that also tells us about your creativity and innovation. In a very short space of time, when we had a breakdown on internet, you had to fix something to come on. We were supposed to come
Mhm.
and just do a wrap up, and eventually you showed up. That tells us
Oh,
about your resolve. So on that note, I thank you so much for joining us, Fatu, and hopefully we will get to talk to you very soon.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much, everybody who's been following us. Again, my name is Abubacarr of Gunjur Online. That was a special talk show with Fatou Hydra and the executive director of Africa Youth Architect. We see was on the phone, a video call with us from Morocco, a Gambian who is doing so many amazing things that we want to come and bring it to light. We'll be back here with her again, and hopefully we talk about business and also eventually get to have more of our teams with us someday and talk about different things that's going to help people, especially the underprivileged people. They're doing an amazing job in Africa, trying to give the young people, the kids, the children of Africa, a quality education that they ever dreamed of. And as they embark on that journey, we'll play our part, our role as a media platform to showcase that, to tell people what they are doing, to also get people that can support what they're doing to fund their programs. And I think that's a responsibility for everyone out there who wants to see an Africa that is worth its salt, an Africa that worth, competing in the 21st century. And if you're competing in 21st century, you have to start from your educational system, because that's what's going to recruit. That's what's going to really create people that are going to survive in this challenging era of ours. On that note, I am your host, Abubacarr Jammeh of Gunjul Online. We'll be back here shortly with you. Have a wonderful weekend and make sure that you live up to your dreams and do amazing things. But don't forget, go and have some little fun each weekend. On that note, I say goodbye to you all.